Hello and welcome to the Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. I'm your host Umar Malik. In this episode, we have Directorate of Physical Education organizes seminar on drug abuse. 2-week refresher courses on science concludes. We also have a report on blood donation camp. And lately, some important notifications of the university. Now the details of these events. Dear viewers, drug abuse in Kashmir is unfortunately taking the shape of an epidemic. It is a dangerous epidemic that is going to ruin our generation if we do not sensitize youth about its implications. The University of Kashmir, being the premier institute of the valley, is taking lead role in spreading awareness about the misuse of drugs. In this connection, the Directorate of Physical Education and Sports organized a day-long workshop on physical and mental well-being, a solution about drug abuse in the Kashmir Valley. Underlining the importance of sports in preventing drug abuse, Directorate of Physical Education and Sports, Dr. Nisar Ahmed Khan said that continuous use of any medicine gives rise to drug addiction.
I am very sorry to say we misuse the medicines. Continual use of a medical entity for a non-medical purpose. If you have got paracetamol, somebody has got a headache, he may use paracetamol, then he may continuously keep on using it and he may become habitual of using it. That makes basically physical dependence, sometimes psychological dependence, that we call finally addiction. That has to be stopped basically. And human tendency basically is, abuse means basically excessive use. You are using some drug for some non-medical purpose, not for the medical purpose. Excessive, inappropriate use of the drugs. That has to be banned, that has to be stopped. For that, education to the youth, the impact of the drugs, the side effects, the adverse effects of the medicines have to be basically conveyed to the audience.
Speaking on the occasion, Teen Students Welfare Professor Rais Qadri advised experts that one should not forget the reasons that make youth drug addicts.
Before we talk about the drug abuse, we should understand why our kids are taking drugs. What's the reason? So we need to kind of discuss the mental health. Right? Forget about the geopolitical issues or socio-political issues. Generally speaking, when you abuse anybody, so it hits his brain. And it's a complete network in our body. In turn, it gives signal to the lungs where you have a breathlessness. Then you have a heart involvement where you will develop a kind of a palpitations. And in the stomach, you will have a secretion of acid. And ultimately, frequency in the urination, that means the urinary bladder is also, So we have different types of stresses, and we have different levels of stresses, if I understand it better.
Dr. Sameer, psychologist from the Government Medical College, Srinagar, said that drug addiction is a medical disorder of brain.
Unfortunately, that's very unfortunate that we label drug addicts as morally corrupt person or someone who has a character flaw or someone who is a criminal and criminalize them and stigmatize them. But in reality, drug addiction is just purely a medical disorder, and that too disorder of a brain. What happens? The person may start taking drugs on a voluntary basis first. This voluntary behavior gradually changes into a compulsive one. And this process happens because these drugs have an effect on the brain chemistry. Which age group is most susceptible or vulnerable? It's teens, adolescents. And why is it so? It's because they have always this urge of doing some high-risk taking behavior. And due to which they start experimenting these drugs. And they have this, in fact, if you talk about from medical science point of view, there is a hypofrontality in adolescents, due to which there is lack of decision making and lack of judgment, and they are not able to decide what's wrong and what's right.
Gym and fitness expert at Kashmir University Health Club and Gym, Mr. Sheikh Adil, said that exercise is one of the best remedies to counter this menace.
Think about fitness and not about drugs. Basically, everyone knows that drug addiction is going on a very large scale. With each passing day, we find in newspapers that there are number of cases that's happening in the valley because of this drug abuse. So let me not get into the details of drug addiction and all that. Let me just concentrate from my point of perspective, from my field of specialization, that in order to counter it from the sports perspective, basically the idea to host this workshop here is just to give an idea that basically exercise is the best medicine. Exercising in the gym is the best medicine to counter this menace of drug abuse. Exercising regularly in the gym, participating in the different sports activities, it's a wonderful thing in order to diffuse your stress, in order to counter your drug addiction.
Explaining the social measures to curb the drug addiction, holistic therapy expert from London, Miss Amber, said that it happens because of lack of connection with oneself.
I also work with the environment. So if we take the premise that we have an internal environment and we live in an external environment. So for the last 5 years, I've been supporting groups in schools, in colleges, in universities to take care of the external environment. But alongside that, we have to take care of ourselves. And I would say, my opinion and my observation with my life experience is that one of the key problems underlying this propensity towards drug addiction and drug abuse is a lack of connection with ourselves. Okay? We're losing a connection with ourselves. And when we lose a connection with ourselves, we lose a connection with our values, with our families, with our cultures, with the opportunities that God has given us. So, in holistic health, we look at ways to reconnect an individual with themselves. And there are many different ways of doing this. I have particularly key tools that I've been using. For example, mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness, which develops awareness and connection with ourselves as living human beings on this planet Earth today, right now.
To train newly recruited teachers of science faculty in research and pedagogy, the Human Resource Development Centre organized a 2-week refresher course in which participants affiliated with University of Kashmir colleges and cluster universities Srinagar took part. During the 2-week course, science faculty teachers were introduced to new methods of pedagogy and importance of empathizing with students. After the conclusion of the program, the Human Resource Development Centre organized valedictory function of the 2-week refresher course in which Director SKIMS, Dr. A.G. Henger was the guest of honor. Presiding over the function, Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed told participants that great teachers always evolve with students and inspire them to achieve greater success in life.
It is important that after you finish your studies doesn't mean that never think that हमारे लिए mirage हो गई. It's not like that. You have to keep upgrading yourself. You have to abreast all the knowledge in your area, and only then you can be one of the best teachers, I would say. That you don't feel shy if you don't know anything, but don't give wrong answers to the students. Okay, you can always say that, okay, I will get back, I will look into things and get back to you. That will always make you a better teacher. It is important for us also to do research, because many of the things which are developing, it should not develop only in the university, but it should also develop into the college level. Okay, we are in the process of having some sort of consortium amongst the institutions within the valley as well as within the Union Territory and including Ladakh, so that some sort of encouragements are given to the teachers if they want to come to the university during the holidays or on the weekends and try to do some research. We will be very happy to do that.
Speaking on the Cajun Director Schemes, Dr. Ahenga said that teachers must continue to evolve and devise their own strategy for the betterment of students.
The point I want to make here is that all those teachers who take themselves as authorities or they take themselves at the last point are not right in thinking so. They must continue to evolve as teachers, and they must try to use their own strategy of evolution for the student also, so that you get the maximum out of it. By doing that, you're going to get the best out of that student, and you're going to ensure that the future generation is going to take care of you. I'm quoting medicine again. I'm not going to the field that you are, leaders and authorities in your own disciplines. If my student tomorrow is better than me, probably he can take care of me in a better sense. I must create a cardiac surgeon in my department or the students who can replicate my hands world over. Because human life anywhere or a biological form of life anywhere is same after all. And if my student is better than me, I must feel proud of that. I must say, yes, I've done my job better.
Dr. Ahenga said that as an administrator, it is his responsibility to understand the requirements of his society in coming years.
As an administrator, I must see what are the requirements of my society next 200 years and work on that model today. Utilizing the model of cashless care, which I started somewhere in the Northeast, which has been adopted by that government there, I have been time and again stressing on that model here, but unfortunately, at some point of time, the governing body wherein I discussed this first time, the people did not understand what I'm talking of. Even today, they are, in a dilemma as to what I said. However, while I worked earlier at the national level with Ministry of Health, Government of India, they adopted the model and it's working all over the country, except Jammu and Kashmir. What I said is an insurance-based cashless care system where a patient in the street or a person in the parliament does not have to pay a single penny from his or her pocket at all. It's all insurance-driven money and the care to the tune of around 5 lakhs per individual in a particular family with bare minimum insurance. That would work wonders. And I would sponsor government rather than government sponsoring my projects.
Earlier introducing Dr. Ahenga to the audience, Director, Human Resource Development Center, Professor Shabir Ahmed Butt said that it would be better if the University of Kashmir and SKIMS enter into collaboration for the benefit of young scientists.
I think Professor Ahenga is a man on the mission who has enormously shaped and enriched the research, science and technology in several institutions wherein he has worked. His list of honors is too numerous, and I fully understand that due to the shortage of the time, it is not possible for us to enumerate and share with you the outstanding achievements that are to his credit. And briefly, I would like to take this opportunity that while the two heads of the premier institutions of Kashmir University and Sher-e Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences are with us to enter into kind of collaborations, partnerships, and give all these young scientists with whom I had an opportunity of being with for about 2 weeks. And while listening to their presentations, it really warmed my heart, the kind of this, work and the commitment to research that they have at their individual levels and whatever they are doing in their colleges. I think it would be appropriate, that if Kashmir University and SKIMS and also with other institutions can have some kind of collaboration wherein the opportunities in the field of science, technology, can be opened up so that they are able to accelerate and do something new.
Coordinator, Human Resource Development Center, Dr. Muhammad Isa Gir, conducted proceedings of the function. Later, participation certificates were distributed. The University of Kashmir is not meant to teach only, but also to contribute towards the betterment of the society. The university regularly does such work which directly benefits society. One such activity that university undertakes is blood donation camps. The NSS unit of the University of Kashmir, in collaboration with Health Centre and SKIMS Medical College, Bemina, organized a blood donation camp. Speaking on the occasion, doctors stressed the need of donating blood regularly for a healthy living.
We have organized the blood donation camp in collaboration with NSS department and SKIMS Medical College. Despite of the fact the weather conditions are not good, we are seeing a very good response from students and faculty members who are donating blood. This is the first program we are organizing with SKIMS Medical College. Inshallah, we hope such programs will continue. In addition to this blood donation camps, we are holding different awareness and education programs, including seminars, and we are inviting guest lecturers from SKIMS Medical College to create an awareness among our students and faculty members.
It's nice to see a voluntary blood donation camp organized by NSS Group in collaboration with University of Kashmir, and happy to see students and volunteers and faculty members donating blood, seeing large number of male personnel who are donating blood, and hope to see such blood donation camps in future also.
Coordinator NSS Dr. Musawir said that NSS unit of the university is active in most social activities.
So NSS Kashmir University is very active in, we have around 40,000 volunteers across Valley in colleges and in higher secondary schools. That makes it, we call it a fourth dimension of academics, wherein student volunteers, they directly interact with the society. This is beyond their curriculum. They go to the mohallas, they do cleanliness, they help people who are in distress.
Later, Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed distributed participant certificates to volunteers of the NSS. Now some important notifications of the university. Applications are invited for the position of Junior Research Fellow for a research project on frost mapping and characterization of Ladakh region. Funded by the National Mission on Himalayan Studies, the last date for submission of forms is January 25th. The date for submission of online application forms and hard copy for B.Ed admission program through distance mode for the session 2019 has been extended up to 27th January. The date for submission of examination forms for BUMS first, second and third year fresh regular has been extended up to 23rd January. That's all for today's episode. Log on to website emmrckashmir.com where you can check the latest episode of Quest. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel, that is KU Television. Do send us your valuable suggestions at our email address, that is quest@emmrckashmir.com. Before I take your leave, here are a few words of wisdom. Careful with your fingers. Don't touch writing. You don't know what it is to write. It is a crushing task. It bends your spine, blurs your eyesight, creases your stomach, and cracks your ribs. But it does not mean that you should not write. You should write and write it responsibly. Good night.